This type of gravel allows for the best compaction and load-bearing capacity. After all 4 concrete tube forms have been installed, spread gravel over the entire area, where both the elements and the paving stone areas are located. Use the ramming compactor to compact the gravel in this area. Several passes may be required to achieve full compaction. Set your 2x4 form in place and begin to level it using your laser level and/or a 4-foot level. Once it is set at the right height, plug any voids where the concrete could possibly leak out. Pack the outside of the form with a hand tamper to help the form remain rigid and to stay in place. Place rebar across the tops of the tubes to reinforce the concrete. Now, you're ready to pour concrete. A standard concrete mix is generally acceptable unless you are working under time constraints or inclement weather conditions, in which case an accelerator may be required. Check with your concrete ready-mix supplier to see what is available. The concrete is then screeded over the form so that a level surface can be created. Moving the board back and forth will help spread the concrete and make it easier to screed. After screeding, trowel the surface smooth with a metal trowel. You'll be surprised how easy it is to install elements if you have a smooth concrete pad. Depending on your particular project, you may want to pour a concrete base for all the units. This is particularly useful if you're placing the units by crane instead of forklift, or if you are retrofitting an existing project. After the concrete has been troweled, place the balance of the gravel in and around the base pad. Spend some time to compact this newly placed gravel with the ramming compactor. The power of the ramming compactor makes compaction much faster and better than using a vibratory plate compactor. The plate compactor will be used later to do the finish compaction. Unilock elements can be delivered or picked up from your local Unilock dealer. As mentioned earlier, be sure and place your order a couple of weeks ahead of when you actually need them. Always unwrap the units prior to placement and inspect the unit to ensure that the unit has not been damaged in transit. This is also a good time to brush the dust off the surface if you do not have equipment capable of handling these units. Some Unilock dealers may even offer a Moffat-type loader service. These units can weigh up to 4,000 pounds or more. Unilock elements are shipped on pallets to prevent damage during transit. Once the pallets are removed on site, you will use the forklift slots provided on the unit. It's critical to keep the forks flat and even during placement to prevent chipping. The forklift slot can also be used for the straps on a crane install. Any small amounts of adhesive resulting from the assembly process may be simply scraped off with a small chisel. Measure and mark the exact position points for the placement of the main fireplace unit directly on the concrete with a pencil. That way you won't be guessing when the forklift places the unit. Lift the unit off the pallet high enough so that the bottom of the unit can be brushed clean and examined to make sure there will be nothing preventing the unit from sitting smoothly on the concrete pad. Now, you're ready to place the first element, the base of the fireplace. You may need a spotter to help you position it into place. Set the unit down slowly into position onto the pad. Try to be as accurate as possible to minimize the amount of adjustment. Minor adjustments can be made with the forklift pushing on the unit. Notice how easy this is because it's on a smooth concrete pad. Use a piece of wood to protect the face of the stone. Next is the placing of the top portion of the fireplace. Reference markings should be made so that the unit will sit even and centered onto the top of the base unit. This unit is heavy. Move cautiously forward and raise the unit in order to set it into place. Always use a machine that has the proper lifting capacity for what you are lifting. Units may also be craned into place when poor access prevents the use of a forklift. Cranes can be especially useful when doing retrofit projects and when the impact to the surrounding landscape needs to be minimized. Once the fireplace has been set, the wood boxes can be placed and preparation for the surrounding seat wall and pillars can begin. A gravel base may be used under units which are not as tall or heavy. Again, proper base compaction is critical for a successful installation. Misting the gravel down with water will aid in compaction and prevent dust. Several passes may be required to reach full compaction. Use a hand tamper to compact those hard-to-get-at areas such as corners. Before the placement of wood boxes beside the fireplace can be done, the water feature must be installed first, so that the balance of the area is more clear and the forklift has room to work. Always plan your way out. The water feature requires electricity, so a conduit must be placed under the patio to the unit. A small groove is excavated and the conduit is placed. Replace the gravel into the trench and compact this area again. Cover the conduit end with duct tape so that it does not get plugged. Place the water feature into position over the conduit. Slide the conduit through the previously drilled hole in the back of the unit. Be careful not to damage or pinch the conduit. If the electrician isn't able to pull the wire, you'll have extra work on your hands digging up the conduit and making the repair. Check the unit for the levelness and make any minor adjustments using a pry bar and a shovel. Next, the right and left wood boxes can be placed on either side of the fireplace. If there is any leveling required, use a plastic shim to make the final adjustment. It is important that elements sit level for best visual appearance. Horizontal adjustments can be made by once again positioning the fork on one side and then pushing the unit. Now, you're ready to place the right-hand seat wall. Once again, the base preparation must be accurate and level. The seat wall units have an interlocking end, so you will want to make sure that the units sit correctly on the forklift for positioning. If you're not working on level ground, it may be easier to use a harness and hang it from the fork. Once in position, the other wall can be put into place. The lining up of the keys is critical for a good fit. You may need a pry bar to slide the units over. Make sure that before you close the gap, that Unilock concrete adhesive is used to bond the two units together. The pillars are placed next and are done in the same manner as the seat walls. Make sure that plenty of Unilock concrete adhesive is used to join the pillar to the wall. In some custom projects, the wall unit may come joined to the pillar. Once again, these units may be a little top-heavy, so if the site you are working in is rough, you should consider a harness and hanging the unit. This will make placement much easier too. See how quickly all the units can be placed? This part of the job alone could have easily taken 1.5 weeks. After the final wall section has gone in, it's time to adhere the coping to the top of the seat wall. Unilock elements come complete with everything you need to finish the vertical units. Unilock concrete adhesive is a special concrete bonding glue made exclusively for Unilock. This powerful adhesive will bind two concrete surfaces together permanently. Almost anything can be built using this adhesive. Use it to adhere pavers as accents into walls, pillars, and planters too. Like most contractors, you'll find many uses for this incredibly strong adhesive. Now it's time to add the hearth. Make sure that the concrete pad is clean from any loose sand or debris. Normally, a plug is placed into the forklift hole to close it off. However, because you are installing a hearth, the holes will be covered automatically. The hearth does not need to be glued in. You will, however, need to glue in a plug in the forklift holes in the front of the hearth. You will need to install a plug anywhere a hole will be seen or where gravel might seep away. The next element to install is the backstep element. You'll be amazed how quick and easy it is to install the backstep. The entire two-tier unit can be placed at once. Once the step is in place, you're ready to begin the final preparation step of the patio.